Another event, another top. Welcome back to my channel, and I am pleased to bring you my deck profile for the recent Ultimate Cup of Europe. I was playing BloomHydra, as you can probably tell by the deck and by the title. Yeah, we went XO1, no loss, only a draw in the mirror against a very skilled Spanish player. And so we made second place, got that paladin mode and all the stuff below. Really happy with the result, and now I'm here to show you what I played or how I played the list. Pretty standard here for Argo, one gallantmon. In a meta where the board isn't cleared that easily, it's very good to just start digi-sorping early and then gain the memory back with the Argomon once it's your turn again, because they can't clear the level 5. That's why I'm going with that ratio. Gamimon's pretty good in control matchups because you need some draw so you don't run out of resources, but most matchups I would rather see the Argomon, that's why it's on 4. Then we have 4 Palmon, obvious, I mean, it's a crazy searcher, can have BloomHydra and every other Digimon, basically every other Digimon. There's a few non-vegetation or plants here, but you can always add BloomHydra and another one. For Pumamon, also mandatory. You can trigger this with your Samarisanti, with your Digisource, with your Hydra to suspend the opponent's Digimon, and that's a very good thing. That's what you want to do with the deck. We got 3 of the BT9 Pumamon. It's there so we can in the mirror stop the opponent from playing effects, and once we want to turn it off, you just evolve over it. Some people believe this is a problem for yourself, but if you play around it, it never is. You just need to learn how to control it well if you have problems with it, because you should only drop it when you can out it yourself, when you need to out it. And otherwise you just evolve this in the back and evo your level 4 over it, and then it's just a vanilla rookie. 3 Terriermon, also same thing. People think this is a problem because it's not a plant, vegetation or fairy, but usually you want to play either Pumamon or Palmon or the level 4s, and you have a lot of targets anyways, and this is very important. And the mirror also helps with all the decks now in the Ultimate Cup meta, playing for memory boost basically, at least most decks, because you can't play stuff like Cool Boy and shit, and that's why you want to have the Terriers to out the opponent's memory boosts and stall the turn with that, or gain a turn with that rather, which can mean that you just win, because once you get Hydra set up and take another turn from them, you can then establish even more suspended Digimon, so that next turn they can't play again, because they will lose too many memory by swinging or using their main effect which suspends them, like the Aerovidramon from BT11, or even like Vamon from Galactimon deck, and stuff like that. Even D-Reaper has some cards like that. And 4 wheat, 4 red veggie, and 4 sunflowermon. Nothing special here. I decided to run everything 4 times instead of like cutting one wheatmon, which some people do, because the level 4s being summoned and then just digisorbing over them is a really good play always. You either do it for 0 or 1 when you use Cherry, and then you have a suspended Digimon out, so you can have 2 suspended to use your Hydra better and stuff like that. There's a new Wheatmon, I think, no, Vegemon, which gets you a memory at the start of your turn. I don't think it's good personally, because you don't really want to hard play it, and you don't leave level 4s up as level 4s a lot anyways. Sometimes you do, it's neat, but the distribution cost of 2 is not that good for me. I could see cutting 2 Wheatmon for 2 of the Vegemon though, because I saw it in in practice in the match that I got a draw in. He was when I was starting with 1 memory evolution, he could go back with the 2 cost evolution. Although you can do the same thing with Sunflow, of course, which even is better to evolve in your stack, because then you can get draws later. 3 Ajatamon. I know most people run 4, but in the meta where you don't have to hide in your raising that much, or breeding, whatever you want to call it, this is a very niche thing in some matchups, because often you just come out and just spam your Digisorbs and your board spam instead of like slowing down by evolving for 3. But also has a lot of scenarios where he comes up as the best level 5, of course, especially when you have to hide in the back, but that doesn't come up so much. And I was more eager to play more Digisorbs than having this 3 cost evo on 4. At 4. 3 Blossomon, standard, I think. In a non-Ulticup format, I would probably play 4 of it, and still just a 3 Agitar, but not really sure about that. I didn't think about that. I'm basically playing BloomHydra at a major for the first time, and I practiced like 1 week for this and played it a bit in EX3. So I'm not like a BloomHydra master, I would say. But it got me far, I guess. Then we put 3 Cherrymon, and normally I wouldn't play them. Or let's say in the actual meta I wouldn't play them at 3. But in the Ultimate Cup meta you really need these. These win your rush matchups like the Brigade. These win your matchups like even the Reaper, where you like can redirect the Reapermon. Reapermon? Is it Reapermon? The Reaper, you know what I mean. And then just gain the memory from the Hydras so they can't OTK you. And it's really important against the blue decks. Blue Flare, you want to set up a Hydramon and a Cherrymon. So when they swing with Metagreymon, you will redirect into Hydra and take their memory to pass turn. And the Metagreymon will die, that means they can never get through. To get through, even 1 damage, they will have to have Armor Purge on, and that means they have to pay another memory. And they won't have that memory usually, because you can memory block the materia, you can gain the rest from the Hydramon, so they pass turn anyways when they swing once and Armor Purge then, and then you can still remove it. And when you bottom deck the Metagreymon, then they just lose the materials and then they have lost the game most of the time. Then we got 4 Hydramon, also something I wouldn't run normally, but this is a different format. Remember, this list is for Ultimate Cup format, not for like playing normal BT11. I would adjust the list for that, but if you're interested in an Ultimate Cup list, this is probably really good. 4 Hydramon, as I said, it wins like almost any matchup, and you can even win games without even swinging at the opponent's security, because at some point you would just have 6 Digimon and they would just concede at that point, or you just swing 6 times and then they are dead. Having 2 up of this is insta win against any deck, and well, because nothing has protection, his removal is even better. But the memory gain is also a very important part. Then we cut down to 3 Bloomlordmon. Probably would swap the ratios in the normal meta, but here this was definitely correct. Only needed to finish the game, you never go into it normally, and that's why he's at 3. You don't have to see it. Won many games without ever going into it, but also finished some games by going like Bloomlord, checking everything, because they just come down for free at some point. even gaining your memory sometimes, and pretty crazy with hidden potential, but Hydra does the same thing with hidden potential basically, if you have something to suspend. Then we got one Ulticup, basically only for the mirror. Can come up against blue flare if they spam the board a lot at the beginning, but they don't die at security. You can at least Nidhogg everything away and slow them down because their pieces will be gone. Only 3 memory boost, because as I said, memory blockers are really good against them in this meta, and that's why I thought people would run a lot of them. I don't know if they did, but I won some games from memory blocking the opponent with my Terriermon, so I'm pretty sure running 4 can be a problem if the opponents think about it and build their deck to beat the memory boosts. Only 1 Mimi. How do I explain this? Well, this is a deck full of gas, like you just constantly spit stuff out because in the meta there isn't something like gallantmon, and security control can't play Schwarz Lizards. And that's why you like never really have the time to play this out. Very rarely. And you would usually just spend the 4 memory you pay for this on evolving stuff, or hard playing a Digimon so you can combo off next turn. But this is good in the meta where you have to hide more in the raising, especially with Agitar. Come out with Agitar, use this effect, play something, then use the Mimi, hedge, put up another rookie, put up another champion, and then next turn you're good to go again. And the opponent basically can never react because you always have the out again. But in this meta, you just spam your board and can't really spend the 4 on this. Really good from security, came out like 1 or 2 times, but not too important. Pretty good in the mirror though, if you ever find a spot where you can play this out. Also same thing, like you don't always have the time, but I found it once in the mirror and it worked out pretty well then, because I just kept choking them and they couldn't because I was going at 3. 2 Samadhi Santi. I think 2 is totally enough. Good to out floodgates like Syakomon or Modoki Betamon, but also like good if you have a setup where you can't suspend 2 of your guys and the opponent's Digimon, because you don't have Pomomon and the setup isn't there because like you can't Digisorb a lot. This helps suspending your Digimon at the opponent and then Hydra suspending itself to get rid of the opponent's Digimon. And last but not least, of course, 1 hidden potential discovered, crazy card, should be banned. No discussion about that one. I think that's it. I would give some shoutouts to my Hamburg player friends, all of them. Special thanks to Janek for giving me his Hydramon alt art because I didn't have a 4th one and he only has alt arts. And also shoutouts to Voyen for helping me learning the deck a bit. We played some mirrors so I could see what he is doing and realized some plays he was doing that I was using in the tournament then as well. Sadly, it didn't make it into the top 8, but still a very good player, and I hope he will do it next time. See you guys.